Zurück mit
I gotta stop giving him such a hard time.
How do you feel about grown men doing Pilates?
Well, you should ask him how I feel about it. Me and Angus can't stop. Well, okay, like for example, but watch, he's gonna come in like right in the middle when I'm talking about him. That's when he's gonna come in. That's how it's gonna be. But like for example, but I would say this if he was here, and he will come here and he will hear me talking about this. But like the other day, he sent me just, it was like some advert for something of a person floating in the water, and you pay to float in the water so that you're underwater and you don't have sound, and it's supposed to be like therapeutic. And not just me, my mom, my son, all three of us were like, the hell is he on? Why can't you just like put your head underwater in the bathtub? Why can't you just go in a swimming pool? Where I was just like, how much is this an hour to float around in basically a pool?
Is it like one of those airtight things? They shut everything off.
Yeah, but see, that's not an isolation chamber.
That's what
Yeah.
sensory deprivation chamber. Yeah,
Yes, that's what it was, but that's not the photo of what he sent me. He sent me like somebody lying in water. And so, of course, I made fun of him. And then my mother made fun of him, and then my son. It's like it's a family.
it's a family ritual.
It's a family ritual. He's like one of the best human beings we know, but we all have our quirks. And I'm not saying it's quirky, and I'm not saying that people go that I'm just saying what he sent me did not show an isolation tank. It showed somebody floating in water, and I was just really like, only he would pay somebody to just let, what do they do? Like at first I was like, do they hold you? Do they hold you so you don't float away? But then he said it was a tank. Then he said it was a tank. And I'm like, still, why can't you just go underwater in a bathtub? And he's like, because it's dark in the tank. I said, why don't you close your eyes when you're in the bathtub underwater? I mean, these are just questions I ask. So, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I just had a rough 2 hours trying to fight with the consulate officials
Oh,
because I have my passport expires, so I had to go renew it, and the systems are just so messed up. Like it's tiring for you to like keep filling out forms again and again and again, and then go to the counter and to hear the same thing before. So it just gets tiring.
yeah, it's tough. Can I ask you a question? And if it's personal,
Go for it.
I will cut it out. Were you born in Dubai or were you born in elsewhere?
I was born in Dubai.
Now, do they probably don't give automatic citizenship, do they?
No, 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 they don't.
No. So everything's still a
No,
process.
yeah. We have a system here called Golden Visa, whereas if you meet a certain criteria of like special people, like say
Hmm.
you've invested a lot of money in the country, you're a very public figure, things like that. So they give you Golden Visa. So it's like 10 years, you can like live in this country without having to worry about visa issues and things like that.
Yeah. I think Thailand has something similar. I think like I know that they have a new program for like digital nomads because we had so many digital nomads after COVID, and it's very cheap to live here. It's funny because there's like so many influencers, right? That have these huge followings, and it looks like they live these really rich, opulent lives, and people are attracted to that. They're like, oh wow, they're living the life like this super rich, glamorous life in Thailand. It's like you could get a fully furnished condo in Thailand for like 350 US dollars a month. It's really not that glamorous, but it looks it, right? They're selling this like glamour. But cost of living is cheap in some aspects. However, to get a digital nomad visa, I think you have to have like a certain amount of money in the bank account. in your bank account to show them so that they don't believe that you're like,
I read about this, and on Reddit, someone said you need to show, I think like $20,000 or something
yeah,
minimum
something like
amount.
20,000. Yeah. And I think it's big, and it's fair. I'll say it's fair because you don't want to have a lot of, because it's happened before. We see it a lot in this country where maybe somebody didn't have a lot of money to begin with, like in the States or something, or whatever country they came from, right? So then they came here to live cheaply, but then they ran out of money and now they are wards or dependent on the Thai government. They don't want that. And I get that, you know. I think that they're too restrict, not no, they're not restrictive enough with their visas. I wish they would like tighten the reins. It's almost I get that. I think that there was probably something where they thought that, you know, if you have all these influencers and stuff and they're posting videos about Thailand, that obviously it's good for tourism and things like that, but at the same time it's like you go to so many places now and you can't enjoy it because there's influencers. There's like the Van Gogh exhibit came, right? And it's
Hmm.
this kind of this beautiful, and I think it went to Dubai, so I think you kind of at least know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It's this
yeah.
kind of immersive experience. It's really beautiful. And you, or it was Monet that we went to, and you kind of, no, yeah, no, it was Van Gogh. Yeah, Van Gogh. And you kind of sit in this room and there's all the lights and all the, you know, just beautiful things, but it was so hard to enjoy this show because in the middle were all these influencers. And like I watched this one couple where they took about 100 photos. I was like, click, 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 click. Nobody can enjoy it, right? Then they're scrolling. Do they like it? Do they like it? No, not good enough. They're going to go take 100 more photos. And I was just like, so we had to like wait for the cycle of the whole thing to go so that we can kind of just sit and enjoy. And then a whole new batch of influencers came.
They come in herds. They don't just come in like ones or twos. And I live in the land of influencers, so I know.
Yeah, you get a lot of influencers over there. I mean, I remember we went to the beach one morning and we just stayed overnight and we were directly across the street from the beach. And I opened the windows in the morning, opened the curtains, went on the balcony, and it was comical. It was like a comedy show. You can just imagine the sun's coming up and from the balcony I could just see like at least 20 groups of husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, everybody, just the guys filming the videos. And it was just like not one person was kind of like living that, oh, it's a beautiful morning for maybe a walk on the beach. It was more like we have to film it to get our video out so we can get the
So
likes. And
okay, no names, but in case they might see this, but I was like, I am friends with someone who every time you go out to eat with them, they're one of those who just, and you have to wait for them to finish taking pictures of their food. So this one time I had come like from work and I was damn hungry, and we had gone to like this gourmet burger restaurant using that friend's connections. They like got free meals and stuff. So I came to eat, and it's like it was a pretty big burger franchise in Dubai. So we sat there, we were watching this person. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, and they're like, let me get from this angle, let me go from that angle. They call like five waiters, like, can you take a photo of me with the food? And me and my other friend who are sitting like this, we're just like, yeah, how's
yeah,
life? Life is good. Yeah, I know. I just came to eat, kind of hungry. I was like, yeah, same. And we had to wait for 45 minutes. And then finally we got to eat like cold burgers.
my mom's like that.
That was the day I said, like, if I'm going out, I'm paying and I'm eating. I don't want free stuff. Because like here, you have everybody being like, can we get a free sample of this? Can we get a free sample of that? And small businesses who are trying to, build their online presence, it's money to them
Yeah.
to be able to do stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, I get that aspect of it. It does help small businesses, I'm sure, you know, but I do. I mean, I've heard from people that have hotels here that are like, you know, people call them saying, "Hey, do you have a free room for me and I'll give you a review." Like that's so blunt, you know? I mean, and I guess that's if that's their business model, but I mean, I can't imagine doing that, you know?
I
That's
mean,
kind of crazy.
at the end of the day, I pity small businesses. I feel bad for them because they put so much thought and effort into what they do. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm paying, If I like, what was the name of the business? It was a t-shirt printing company. I wanted to get a t-shirt printed for a friend. He has one. He has like a small cubicle store in a mall, and rents in Dubai are very expensive.
I can imagine.
So he like I went to him and I was like, yeah, I want to get like two t-shirts printed for a friend. It was one of my friends just got married, so I wanted to make them a t-shirt for like as a wedding present. So I went and I asked him, I was like, what are your costs and all that. And before me there was somebody else who had about like 25,000 followers, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to give you a shout out, you're going to go viral, I have this and this person following me. That guy was like a very humble guy. He's like, I understand, but I cannot give it to you for free because this is the cost to me. And you know,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
and yeah, like I felt bad for that guy, but he was so nice, he was so sweet. Because I was showing kindness, he gave me a free t-shirt with that. So I was like, I'll take it, thank you.
That's lovely. Yeah, it's just I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of, influence. Like, there's a lot of videos, that I like and enjoy. Not the ones of people doing stuff, but like when I'm so big on the drone photography, of just because it's giving a perspective of something that of a place I'm probably not going to go travel to. I'd like to, but obviously.
So surprisingly, my feed has been filled with videos of Vietnam in the last week or so. I have not like I don't know what's up with my algorithm. I get all this weird stuff. It's like 90% of it's cringe, but within that cringe stuff you'll find one like really good video that you'll vibe with.
Yeah, but you know what your problem is though, and I'll tell you what your problem is right now. When you get the weird stuff, you send it to me, and I'm like, God, I opened it. Now my algorithm is going to be messed up. Because I know I get it. You want to share, but sometimes I'm like, sometimes I look at, I'm like, I'm not going to open. I'm not. I could kind of see the video, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not opening that.
No wonder
There's
you
no
don't.
good that's going to come out. He's going to ruin my perfect algorithm.
Let me next time I'll give a disclaimer. Open this video. It is good. Kidding.
The kidding like way afterwards.
Like maybe 10 messages after that.
It's no, I'm so like I don't think people understand like how protective I am of my algorithm. It's like people say so many bad things about algorithms, and I'm like, I'm so protective of mine because it's perfect. Because for me, sometimes I do stuff. You know me. It's like I think I have ADHD. Work, and then I'm like, okay, it's time for a break. And sometimes my break is like a mini break of 5 minutes of scrolling, right? So I get 15 seconds of something, but for 5 minutes, right? So I scroll, and it's sometimes that 5 minutes because I read something interesting or I see something interesting. It feels a lot longer than 5 minutes. It feels like that mental break that I need. It's like maybe it's something funny, maybe it's like, because usually my algorithm is just like either something historically that happened. I'm big into history, or it's got some kind of cool architecture that I'm into, or it's got some space stuff, or it's got some fun. Like I couldn't stop watching this video yesterday, and I wanted to be the person filming so much, and it was just a person stuck behind a dog on a flight, but the dog kept putting its nose like between the two seats back at them. So the whole flight they were just staring at this dog's nose, and it was like a golden retriever or something, right? But he kept falling asleep with like a tongue hanging out or with his teeth showing. And so they just took all these different videos of it, and I watched, and it was like it wasn't even a video, right? It was like a video of photos. I watched it so many times because I was like, I want to be there. I want to be there staring at a dog. I want to go on a flight that has just dogs. Like that's what I want to do.
I had the best dog experience.
Ooh, tell me about
One
it.
one of my really good friends has I forgot the breed. They called him Chewie because of Chewbacca from Star Wars. Because he looks like that. I want to say a Shih Tzu, but
Was it
it's,
a Yorkshire Terrier? I bet you it was a Yorkshire Terrier.
I was just like observing this dog. I'm like, whenever I see new dogs, I don't want to overwhelm them by like, going and petting them and trying to get them to give you attention. I just give them
Really?
space and sort of ease into it. Yeah, yeah. I don't like rushing them into doing that. So I was just sat in the car, I'm whistling, I'm having a good time, I'm growing to the music. And I think he got bored of his owner. So he was facing his back to me. So he like turned this way and he put his face in my lap, Like he just put his face in my lap and he just sat there for 20 minutes, peaceful, said nothing, and I was like, This is heaven. This is heaven
Right?
right here." Yeah.
Animal connections, man. I'm, just was talking to, I just recorded somebody recently, but I was talking about you because I said that you're an Aries, and I found that a lot of times some of my closest friends are Aries, and it's because, and I like it because you usually have a different reaction, a different approach, a different thought process, and I like that because I like to see the other side so I can have a better understanding if I only see my side, but what you were saying, how you approach dogs cautiously, I'm just thinking, wow, that's the total opposite reaction because I see a
I know.
dog and
I
it's like love bomb. You know me, I'll like push people out of the way. I'm like, dog. And I'm down on the ground with him and roll around. Like, I don't even care if it's a street dog. I kissed a street dog just last week. I'd never
I
seen him
okay.
before.
I have pet probably every stray cat that's come past my way until I got bit by one, and then my mother observes from a distance, and like I can just hear Anuj! More often than not, like because we was where we stay in the community, there's a lot of stray cats. So oftentimes when you're trying to enter the house, there'll probably be a cat in your way, and she hate is not the word for it. She is not a fan.
Yeah.
She's gonna hear this and
But
she'll
she
be
just
like,
seems, but from my understanding of what I know about your mom, she seems just not an animal person.
she doesn't have a problem with animals. She just doesn't like to be within close proximity of one, which is funny because all we try to do is get her into close
Yeah, yeah,
proximity. I have so many stories. Okay, so this one time she's parked the car outside of the garage. She's trying to enter the house, and there's a cat in our garage. So she just calls me. She's like, "Calm down now." I thought like something happened. I came running, and then I just see a cat over there,
yeah.
and she's like, "Move it." I was like, "Why? I want to play with it." She's like, "Get it out of the house now!" And
I love her.
like how cats are acrobatic. They jump on
Yeah, yeah,
things
yeah,
and stuff. So sometimes, like in our villa, there's like a boundary wall, so the cats come and jump on top of the villa, and she'll be like in the garden doing things, and in the background she can hear meow, and she'll get so scared. She'll run the other way, not realizing that the cat can catch up with her like in a second.
yeah.
It's so funny. And then you should see her experiences with pigeons.
I was gonna say because wasn't she with you that time the pigeon landed on your head? And how weird was that? Because I mean, sometimes okay, so sometimes like when you send me something, right, and I'm worried it's gonna affect my algorithm. Sometimes I wonder, are we in a simulation? Because you and I had been talking so much about pigeons, about my pigeon, makeshift pigeon hospital, my experiences with pigeons. And then is it safe to say up until then you hadn't had like many experiences?
So no, 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 not really. What happens here in Dubai is that pigeons are people's worst enemies.
Yeah.
In
Everybody
the
hates pigeons
they,
except Mike Tyson.
yeah. It, I really want to advocate for you to interview him.
I know.
It would be such a good conversation.
Right? People need to tell Mike Tyson. I already told Billy I was going to name drop him. I'm just like, I've never name dropped you before, like to get something, but I'm gonna name drop you to him so he could be like, vet me. I'm safe. I'm serious about pigeons. This isn't like to bring you in and bait you and talk about other shit. I really just want to talk about pigeons, Mike. So if Mike Tyson, if you're listening, please come talk to me about pigeons.
So in Dubai, people hate pigeons everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere,
Same here.
everyone here is trying to get rid of pigeons because they
Yeah.
come, they shit in your
They think
house.
bird flu. Everybody thinks bird flu.
So for me, I had no problems with pigeons. They would just come, they would go. Like if a pigeon shits on my car, like okay, I'll just
Yeah,
clean it.
right? Yeah.
I like you do you. So I just let them be. And I had not had many pigeon experiences until you started talking about pigeons. That's when I walked out of the house and the first thing that happened was a pigeon came and landed on my head. And there are days where I think you're angry at me, and then I
And I've sent the pigeons.
yeah, and then because I remember this one
I
time
would
when
send the ravens.
yeah, That's your personal goth army.
Yeah.
So this one time I left my I thought you weren't angry with me. You were just busy doing something. I thought you were angry with me, and I got out of my house and there were six pigeons on my car, like two on each side, and I'm like, what the hell? I wanted to take a photo, but by the time like I could take my phone out, they flew off. And then I went to open my car door, and there was like bird shit everywhere. And I was like,
That's Belisa.
yeah,
You know what I have to say though, along the lines of that, I think that, I I love our friendship and I respect our friendship so much. Um, and I've talked about it many times. It's like it was like a happenstance type of a situation where I just happened to scroll and like at the time you had 60K followers, but you had a nice page. I liked it. But one of the things that I love so much about our friendship over the years is that I feel that both of us grow a lot from it because, and I think also it's because of the fact that we are very, very different, that how we handle things can get perspectives. It's like, now, like you know me now that it's like, yeah, I don't get mad about anything. And if you have anything you want to know from me, you just ask me because I'm super, super blunt, like blunt as blunt can be. It's I think that like in terms of that, that's helpful to you because then you could see like maybe not everybody that doesn't, you know what I'm saying. It's like I think that some people, for one thing about me, is like people have to learn that I don't respond, like, and sometimes it can be days before I respond, and sometimes. And I think that if people don't know me, it could seem like she doesn't want to talk to me or she's upset with me. And for me, I look at it as if I can't give you my full attention, I don't want to give you half assed attention. So I'm just going to let you sit there for a while until I can give you full attention because I think I would owe somebody. I don't want to like it's like you sit and talk to people sometime. Imagine going on a date with somebody and the whole entire time, the girl's just like and he's thinking like I've asked her for a date, but the whole entire time she's just talking to other people.
I got you.
So to me, I don't I don't want to give that kind of energy. So a lot of times it's like I can't get back. I don't want to get back to people. And if people leave because of that and they're like and make assumptions because of that, that's kind of like a good thing, right? I kind of feel like well, it weeds out the people that have expectations because you don't want to have people in your life that have like she's not writing me back on my time. Like she's not responding in my time instead of being like, okay, well, it could be a million things or whatever. So I think that that's not a bad thing that it weeds out those kind of people.
You eventually you figure out with time who you want to talk to and who you don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
Time does its thing, and you of all people will know that. Like I learned this the hard way.
But like I said, I think that we learn so much from each other. Sometimes it's like I'm closer in age to your mom, you're closer in age to my son. And so sometimes that gives us different perspectives. And sometimes I come and ask you, I'm like, well, what would you think about this or that? And you're kind of like yeah, you're just an extended family member at this point. I even though like you and my kid are close, I love that. And you guys can share laughs and make fun of moms together.
That is the when your kid decides to reply.
He's like a lot like, I am so thankful of this with him and that's why I try to as, being a librarian in the library, it was a rule that I had. I would, send parents out when they were on the phone. And I'm like, go out, can you please go outside and do it? Like in the library, I'm trying to model like not always having our phones on us. And so I hardly ever have my phone on me. I don't have notifications on. I don't have, except for, my important people, but everything else I don't have notification. I don't even have vibrate. And I've noticed that my son is not like super glued to his phone either. And I'm like kind of stoked on that. Like, that's cool. Like he sends memes, but he's like me. He goes through a thing and then goes off and does something else.
The funniest Angus story you've ever told me is the what is it? I'm going to go join the German embassy. I'm going to go join the Chinese something. I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah, he's just I don't know what he's decided him and his best friend are gonna go embassy hopping. And I don't know why. Like I don't ask anymore
I
like these
love this.
questions.
Curiosity should have more
Yeah,
curiosity.
I should be afraid now because his best friend is like 2 years older, but he's in the process of getting his pilot's license and he just bought a boat. Like he got an inheritance, right? And he's like getting his pilot's license and he bought a boat. And I'm like, oh my God, what kind of, but he also bought guitars and he's been like sending stuff. And I think that's fantastic. Like he's like doing so good. And I'm proud and excited. I want to ask you a question about your mom because I love her, like legit love her. But every time like I see her, it seems like she's always listening to music, which is super, super cool. Every time she's like listening to music. What kind of music did she listen to when you were growing up?
This is the story that I was saving for this podcast that I told you about. Story about my mom. So
Nice. Let's
she
go.
when she grew up, she was like on par with you actually, with your love for 80s music.
Nice.
She was listening to George Michael. She was listening to Tears for Fears. She was listening to, I think, a bit of the Eagles also, if I'm
Nice.
not mistaken. So she was listening to a lot of like these English FM stuff when she was growing up in Dubai in the 80s. So growing up, actually, like things were very different for her when I was growing up. So she like lost touch with all of that. She
Hmm.
only started rediscovering it now as I am starting to get in, like as I was getting into the 80s. She
Hmm.
was starting to pick up on it along the way. So yeah, so for her, she is the biggest. Her favorite song of all time is Summer of '69, Brian Adams. That was the one song she would keep. It was her ringtone growing up.
Oh.
So like for me, my earliest musical memory was when me and my brother were going to school in the morning. We used to come to our dad to say bye, and
Hmm.
he would be getting ready for work. He would be shaving, but he would also be singing. There's this classical Indian artist called. Why am I so bad with names? One second.
I noticed she always like likes the 80s, like any kind of 80s band that you post, like Tears for Fears. And I know she
Kishore
doesn't like
Kumar.
it just to
Sorry.
be nice to you.
No, no, no. She genuinely likes it. She's not doing it to like tolerate me or anything.
Yeah.
So Kishore Kumar, that's the
Hmm.
name of the singer. So my dad would be he would be shaving, he would be getting ready for work, and he would be humming this song. So for me and my brother, this was one of our first musical memories, like my dad singing that song. And then for years after that, this was long before CarPlay was invented, long before Bluetooth came into play. We used to have USBs, right? You could
Yeah, yeah,
connect
yeah.
your phone via USB to the car. So every time my dad would connect his phone to the car, this was the song that would play. This one song that he used to hum again and again. So that melody is stuck in my brain
Yeah.
for the longest time. So that was one for my mom. From my mom, her ringtone was Summer of '69. So every few uh, like every time a phone would ring, that song would play, and then we were starting to learn that our mom likes 80s music, you know. So many years after that, one of my aunts who lives in New Jersey, she used to make these videos of like every family member whose birthday it is. She used to
Hmm.
make like take all these photos and videos together and make like a
Oh, yeah,
reel
yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
This was like 2000 like 10 or 11. So
Wow.
I told her, I was like, "That's my mom's favorite song. I want you to use this song, please." So she used that song and it made like my mom's day. She still has that video, I think, saved on her phone somewhere.
Do you know
So,
what's funny? Just before you go on, I'll just tell you that my mom's birthday is your mom's birthday, and my mom's favorite song is Everything I Do, I Do It For You, Brian Adams.
so she would like, and for me growing up, I was the metalhead, always like blasting, like headbanging stuff. And you remember the story I told right about the family trip?
Yes.
So after that, my dad was like, "You need to delete all this music now." So
Everything I
what I would do is I would save my music in his folders on the computer. So if he opens my folders, it will look like I have nothing there, but it's all saved in his folders. So he didn't find out about this until like much later, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm deleting. You can't be listening to this music." I was like, "No, this is me." So yeah, and then when I wasn't that big into 80s music until like say maybe 2019. I knew of it, but I wasn't actively listening to it. So then when I started like discovering all the new wave synth pop stuff, that's when she started getting back into it. So like often, like I would be listening to something on full volume and she would walk into my room. She's like, "I know this song. I've heard this song somewhere before." And then like few listens later, it would like, suddenly come back to her.
Yeah.
and like she would like her desk is like right outside my room where she works. So every time I'm sitting in my on my desk and working, I will make sure I'm playing something that she likes, and
Yeah.
then in the
Aw.
back and then in the background she'll be like moving her head and she'll go, "Sweet dreams are made of this." And then we got her a Spotify subscription, and now she just like enjoys.
Always, yeah, like always see her bop like every video
Yeah.
you sent. She's just sitting there bopping to music, and I love it. I love it so much. I love the relationship you guys have. I do have an kind of an answer of why she probably fell out of music. And so this is like I said, this is one thing I like about our friendship is we can get perspective sometimes. Probably like a lot of times, and it's something I've heard from a lot of friends. It's like you listen to music and stuff, and then life, you start working or you have kids, and so you don't have a lot of those that free time to just do those kinds of things. And so I think just like with you and her, with what you do, she can really appreciate what you do because I think it's also reminded her of how much she loves music and how much music probably affected her as well. And it's like I can see that now, with Angus. It's like he loves music so much, and we get to geek out about music together again, too. So, music's a really lovely thing because it just can bridge generations.
I want to see how Angus responds to like new East Coast hip hop. I know you love West Coast.
He's such like I am really amazed with him because he's got an even broader scope of music perspective than I had. And I thought that I had a really broad perspective because, my dad was into classical, big bands, that kind of stuff growing up. So you and I have talked about, like George Gershwin, like loved George Gershwin, loved Glenn Miller. That's what came from him. So I had all that kind of also country. He loved country, like old school country. But my mom, she was really like I think being from Thailand and it was so different that she really embraced like Western music, Western culture, Western fashion, Western style. And so she was really into, I just realized that I'm on the wrong mic this whole entire time. And that's going to totally affect sound. But yeah, she was into, that's why it sounded weird the whole time I was talking. So hang on. I'm going to just switch
No
something really
worries.
quick because
I have
it's
I
going to
just
be so
remembered this
bad.
one. I just remember there's one more part to that story I haven't told you. I'm waiting for you to finish. Much clearer.
All right. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It
I
happens.
just realized I'm like, it sounds really weird. Why does it sound really weird? And then I just saw why.
Yeah. So this is like okay that same story about my mom. I had just discovered Live Aid and Live 8 sometime. This is a couple of years ago, and I when I had just discovered that I was reading up on Bob's story, Bob Geldof,
Hmm.
and we were in a conversation. We were in a car, and the conversation was about how people who run like international charities, like despite them showing that we do charity work, we're still millionaires, we're still billionaires. We only fly first class, etc. And one of the examples she used was Bob Geldof. So for the longest time, every time I would talk about music, my mom would be like, "Yeah, I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is." She always used to give me this impression like she didn't know
Hmm.
like kind of the music that I was into. But I learned later on that it was like in the back of her brain, but she hadn't like connected with it in so long. So she was talking about Bob Geldof. She's like, yeah, Bob Geldof is one of those people. I think he says I'm in the charity work, but he'll only fly first class. He'll only drive the fanciest cars, and things like that. And I look at my mom I was like, how do you know who Bob Geldof is? And
Hmm.
she turns around in the way that only she can. She looks she looks at my face and she's like, you think I was born yesterday? And I'm like, for the longest time, you keep saying you don't know this, you don't know that. So how am I to know that you know who this person is?
I love that she's sassy.
She
That's
is
the
an
word. That's the
sass,
word. She's sassy.
sassy is her superpower.
Yeah. And
Sassy
I
is her
love it.
superpower.
I
Like
love it.
like yesterday, okay, me and my dad, I needed help with my the counselor thing that I told you. So me and my dad had got, and it's I don't sorry, I don't want to swear. It's hot as hell in Dubai. It is hot as hell in Dubai. So me and my dad spent the entire morning, like doing work related stuff outside. And when we came home, we were so dead tired, like legit, like our batteries were drained because of being in the sun. And there's my mom being full sassy, giving us attitude. And like, she's the kind of person where if she asks you a question and you don't reply in like zero point 0.5 answer, 0.5 seconds, she'll like, huh, and we're like, give us a chance to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, she's hilarious. Sassiness is her superpower.
I think it's, like I said, we've talked about, generational trauma before. I think it is just a generational thing because, my mom's the same way. And I think that that's why, you and me are similar in that sense. And I think that that's why you, me, and Angus get along because we like to take every opportunity, Angus and I, to troll my mom. Like, I would say that it's not so much like, and I just realized it wasn't so much. Now it's at least every couple of days, but it used to be at least once a day. Him and I cried. We laughed until we cried. And it was more or less usually because we were trolling my mom on something.
DEFCON 1, I'm telling you, DEFCON 1.
Yeah. Like sometimes we do have to be like F5 because we're like too far. But like I've even told you, like, even his friends, we all know for like my mom, we have a mode. And Angus's best friend actually made an operational chart, like of what to do. And it's called Injured Lion Protocol. And like I'm not even joking. It was like at a time that he was here spending the night for several nights. So it's like, okay, well, if you're going to spend the night, you're a member of the family. This is Angus's best friend, Alan. And it's like, if you're going to be here for several nights, you're a member of the family. So like, you've got to deal with whatever's going on with Granny too. And she was so sick and she's old school, right? So there's a lot of, I think it's just, I don't want to say bred into them, but it's ingrained into them. There's kind of like a look after me. Who's looking after me? Who's taking care of me? So we call that injured lion protocol. And that just means, okay, they're sick, they're sequestered, but we have to go into shift rotations of every 15 minutes checking. Do you need some tea? Do you need something to drink? Do you need some ice? Do you need some whatever? So when I told Angus's best friend Alan this, and within this is like what a good student he is. I was like, you should have gotten A's in everything because he had a chart. He had a rotation of whose turn it was going to be at what top of the hour, and it was just, and then he like forwarded it to like Angus and me, and I was just like, I'd give you an A. Like this is a very good, but yeah, I mean, you need, and so I've told you, you need to have injured lion protocol.
My mom is the opposite. You don't need an injured
Really,
line protocol because you just
really.
have to, she just wants to be left alone.
Oh,
Like
she's the opposite.
like she appreciates you coming and doing things for her, but more often than not, she'll just be like, go, go for me.
Wow. See, my mother, the way that you show love is service.
My with my mom, you just have to leave her alone.
I think that's me. I'm just like, I kick Angus out all the time when I'm sick. I'm just go away. Like, I don't want to hear you. He's like, I'm here to, like, when I was just recently sick, like, he laid on the bed and he's just like, I'm just going to sit and talk with you. And after, like, it was maybe like 2 minutes, I'm like, please go. And he goes, don't you love your son? And I'm like, just please go. And he's like, you don't love, then he starts singing a song. Like, he's making up a song, like, you don't love me, just making up words. And I'm like, you're making it worse. I'm like, please just go away. I'm like, sound. I have a sinus infection. I'm like, my head feels like it's in a vice. I can't watch TV because light hurts. I can't look at my phone, light hurts. And you're singing at the top of your lungs. And he's like, I'm making you better. Please stop. So yeah, he's turned out to be just like me.
I like that. I see a lot of myself in him when it comes to the
I thought
trolling.
you were going to say you see a lot of yourself in your mom.
See, my DNA or like
Yeah.
my habits, my genetics all comes from my dad.
Yeah.
Like if people ask, because she sometimes go like, both my kids look like my husband, nobody looks like me. She feels left out sometimes.
Yeah.
I always tell her this is like our values, me and my brother, our values are rock solid in life because of you.
Yeah.
Who we are,
Right.
where we are, is because of you. We may have, like, I may have my dad's genetics or my dad's habits or my dad's DNA, but who I am, what I am, is because of you.
See, I tell my mom the same thing, but then me, my mouth, I sit there and I'm like, so if you've got any problems with me, it's all your fault because you're the one that raised me. And then I walk away. And that's when and that's when like sparks start flying because I can't help myself. Like I'm just I always like to just stir the pot. I don't know why. It's like I just like stirring the pot because I know it's gonna rile her up, and then I get mad at Angus sometimes because he does the same exact thing, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like he's doing exactly what I do, and I'm like upset with him. So I'm like, I can't be upset with him. It was just like during the summer, like I was getting a lot of notices from teachers saying he doesn't turn in his homework all the time. And then I'm like, I send the stuff and I'm like, oh my God, he's not turning the homework. They're like, I have to put it because it's the report card, but he's doing all right because he aces all the tests. They're like, but if he turned in the homework, he could probably end the year with like a high grade. But it's like they balance out to like average. And I'm like, and I was going to say the same thing, like, oh, and then I thought about myself, like, same way, and I just let it be. I'm just like, "Eh." If he's testing well, I mean, that means he knows it. I get the laziness of the homework. I'm not gonna worry about that.
I know, I never cared about homework either.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a nightmare in school. Like, you should have like one full podcast with my mom, only talking about my school days.
Were you a
She
good student or
No,
no?
no, I was horrible. I could care less.
Do you
So
think that it's because of I mean, do you think it's just because of boredom, disinterest, the teachers? Do you think it's neurodivergency?
I could care less, honestly.
I love
I
that attitude.
when I was in the first grade, in my homework, okay, we were I think we had an art assignment where we had to color a grass, the sky, and the sun. And what I did, I have no memory of this, but my mom wouldn't lie. So she's like, "This boy has colored the sun green, has colored the sky yellow, and colored the ground blue, and submitted it with full confidence."
Why not?
And the teacher's like, "Yeah, I can't pass him because of this." And my mom's like, I mean, he doesn't care." What you gonna do? I mean,
I mean, why would you have to pass somebody for that? Like, see, that's
because
the thing, though. I mean, we know
school,
now, right? We know now that we should just kids are
just
gonna
let
have
kids
different
be. Like,
ideas.
I
Yeah.
obviously knew the correct order, but I could care less.
Right?
So I was never an academically inclined student. I was a C's and D's or B's at best,
Yeah.
and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I had my interests. I knew what I was good in. So I
Yeah.
just focused on that. I was like, and you don't have to always be a good academic student to excel in
Yeah.
life. But we were taught
Yeah.
the opposite. Sure.
Yeah. No. I mean,
Because
it's like that everywhere.
I had my brother who was always, like, because he did Indian curriculum, I did British. So he
Mhm.
was like always a 90%, 95. And then there was me.
Yeah.
My mom always used to say that Anuj tires me out physically, Divij tires me out mentally. So we balance each other out.
Okay, let me ask you a question because you grew up in Dubai, but you also have, an Indian mother and father. Is it the same? Like, I know how it is in America. It's not so much here in Thailand, but like in America, you have the American dream. Go to school, then you go to university, then you get married, you get a job, you work on your job 20 years, 30 years, then you retire. Is that the same kind of expectation over there as well?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's interesting to me because I started thinking about this recently about that expectation, right? That seems to be the expectation. And I don't know why I never really kind of really considered it until now, but I'm like, it almost seems like this worker bee kind of. mentality that we've all been kind of forced if this is what it takes to succeed in life. And yet, so many people have achieved all that, have done all that, and are not happy, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously, the measure of happiness and the measure of success is different. But it's like by the time that some people realize that you're in this system, this worker bee system, and you realize, oh, I'm stuck in this, is it, will they feel like, oh, it's too late to change that now? Like it's too late to start again once you realize it or not, Because I think I just hear so many friends that have done, they feel like I've done all the things that I'm supposed to, and they're stuck. They feel stuck. And it's like, we don't have to do all those things. Like, we don't have to do life that way.
Yeah, we more or less go through the same thing where you are expected to go to school, go to university, get married, get a job, have kids, and retire. That's pretty much how everyone here views it too. And I don't see it that way. I've always been like a rebel.
Yeah.
I've always,
I think, yeah.
yeah. Because for me, the more I'm a very emotional person. I wear my emotions on my shoulders or my sleeves, and it shows. That's just the way I am. That's my DNA. That's how I am. Because my dad is also like my dad is the most disciplined and stern man you'll meet, but when he wants to talk about something or when he feels very strongly about something, it'll show.
Yeah. Is passionate. And you're no,
Yeah.
you're exactly the same way.
So for me, I the more I try to force myself, like, okay, I have to do this. When I don't, it'll show. Like the disinterest will show. You can tell that I'm doing something I don't want to do, but I'm sort of like, you know, doing it for the sake of doing it.
I think that, uh, and I think it's a lot of, I would say, a lot of Asian families are like that, where there's tons of people doing stuff that they don't want to do,
Yeah.
but it's a generational thing. Like, we got to go to this family reunion. It's like, I don't know anybody. And why do we have to go? Like, we don't know anybody and we don't talk to anybody when we go there. So why do we have to go?
We have
Oh, because it's a family thing.
okay. Now I'm gonna tell you the difference between Americans and Indians. So I saw the stand-up comedian the other day, and he was like, where in American families, if a kid misbehaves, the parents just say, "Go to your room," and the guy will be like, "Okay, I can just chill in my room. I can play PlayStation. I can watch movies. I can do whatever I want." For us Indians, it's like going to your room meant that you had facilities in the first place, which you never did. So for us, when we had to be punished, our parents would say, okay, we're going to this person's house, you have to come, what you
Yeah.
just said, like you
Yeah.
have to go to this relative's place, you have to come along. And I'm like, why? Because my parents did that with me all the time. Like during my teenagers, I didn't want to go anywhere, I don't want to talk to anybody. I used to stay at home and watch wrestling. I used to stay at home and watch movies. I used to play PlayStation. I used to
Yeah.
read. I just like being by myself. But my parents are like, nope, you gotta go. And then when you
Yeah.
go to these people's houses and you hear about how great they are in school, and you want to throw up on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a generational thing, like my dad is white. He's from the East Coast, but and like my cousin came to live with us when we were younger. And I remember like my mom forcing us to, I remember one time going to a Thai temple in like, in San Diego, right? And it was up on this like mountain retreat, and she forced us to go to this thing. And then it's time to pray. We need to come in. We're going to pray with the monks, and we're going to meditate. And it was like, please don't ask us to do. She's like, oh, so you don't want to support me. That it was that passive aggressive. You don't want to support the family. You don't want to. It's like, oh my God. Dad and I and my cousin would go do this, right? But is my dad is the same blood as Angus and I. It would usually be sitting there, and then I'd look at my dad and he'd make some face, and then I would try to suppress laughter, and then I'd look over at my cousin and he could see, and he's now trying to suppress laughter, and we look over dad, a tear is coming down his face, and we're just sitting here, hundreds, 100 people praying, right? Monks over there, and the three of us bozos like trying so hard that my face hurts. And then she looks at us like, what are you doing? And then she can see that we are in pain. We are like in pain because we're like seconds from bursting. And then you could see her just shaking her head, like laughing at us because and like dad had to leave. Like my dad's got to go. Like it's hard. It sucked. And
Yeah.
even now, like I'm an adult, and it's still sometimes like once a year, she's like, oh, it's a family reunion thing. And I'm like, why? Why? Nobody even talks to me. Like, why should I go? Because you have to go. It's tough.
Do you not say like, Mom, why do I have to do this?
Yeah.
And
I,
mom
you know,
like goes
I,
like,
I always sit there and I'm like, I'm a grown ass person. I'm not going to do it. Right. But she's next door. And so then if I see her out in the garden, I'm like, "Hey," and she's like, "Hi." And so then
oh,
eventually I'm just that's her superpower. Like I feel guilted, the passive aggressive, like I feel guilted. And I'm like, damn it, I'll just go. I'll just go to like just keep the peace. I'll find a dog, I'll find an
you
animal, I'll just keep the peace.
you will know this better than anybody else, but nobody knows how to emotionally guilt trip you better than your mother.
Yeah. See, if
And you
Desmond remembered to have gotten on, Desmond would sit here and it's funny because he's got a British mom from Yorkshire, and it's the same. Like
Yeah,
a lot of our friendships are bonded over our moms.
mothers.
God. And what's sad is Angus is friends with you, so I can't even imagine what your conversations like my mom.
Yeah, because when I wanted to troll you about the 10,000 followers thing, I told him, I was like, okay, thanks again for doing this. If you have any song requests you want me to post, let me know. And he mentioned that Drake song, thinking that he could use it to irritate you.
Like, how can you act like a hard rapping gangsta when you're from Canada? Like, I
Someone made,
can't.
yeah, yes, someone made like this whole video about the Kendrick Drake beef, being like, here you have Kendrick Lamar who grew up on the streets of Compton where there's, violence, drugs, and God knows what else going on, and then here's Drake coming from Canada talking about investments and suits and
You know what I find cool though about Kendrick? Despite the fact that he did grow up in those situations, if you see that the way he interacts with fans, interacts with people, there's a softness despite the hardness. I respect that. I
oh yeah,
respect people that have walked through shit and gone through shit and still hold a softness for the world and people. I have mad respect for that. Like mad respect. So that I'm team Kendrick in this house. I think he writes good beats. I think that like he said that he went back to school so he could learn to be a better rapper, so he can expand his vocabulary, expand his thoughts to be better
that
at his
yeah,
craft.
that seems to be a big trend amongst rappers who go back to school to finish their education and stuff like that. 'Cause I got this reel the other day. One of the few good reels that I get was it made like a whole comparison about each and every rapper from the West Coast and the East Coast, who like what did they do after they got their money. The first one was Method Man from Wu-Tang Clan, who went back to school, who apparently was a high school dropout, and then he went back to school because he realized that I cannot expect my kids to do well at school if I myself have not done it.
It's Desmond. He's just like, I don't know. He's probably going to come on. He was probably in an isolation
Yeah.
tank. He's probably
Yeah.
not going to tell me if he started taking this isolation. Like Angus trolled him like right afterwards. He's like, he what? And I'm like, he's going to go lay in a pool for like 2,000 baht an hour. Like, and he's like, why? And he immediately, Angus is like, hey, I'll take you over to the pool in the condo and you pay me and I'll let you float around for like a half hour.
This kid hustles. This kid hustles.
Hustles. He
I
like
appreciate it.
hustled. Like, I don't, I'm, he's so funny though. Like, he cracks me. Like, I don't think that I've met a person funnier than my kid. And I know that it seems totally biased, but it's like, I can't stop I can't stop laughing. Like, I laugh so hard every single day. Like, I laugh at least until my face hurts, but at least every other day, I laugh until I cry. It used to be every single day I laughed until I cried.
I'm gonna say something music related.
Okay.
This is the funniest thing that I love about Spotify. It makes those playlists for you, and it gives you like a title for that playlist with like a genre associated with it, like based on
Okay.
your listening habits. So basically, it's like Spotify curates a playlist for you, and it based on your listening habits, it puts all these songs in, and then it tries to title that playlist in like a very quirky way. So the one that I just got a notification right now from Spotify, like 2 minutes back, where like your playlist for today is ready, and it says Dad Rock Guitar Thursday afternoon, and the first song here is When I Come Around by Green Day.
It's dad rock now?
Yeah, I don't know. And then the second one is Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. And I just
That's
got
dad rock.
and I just got an image of my dad, if he was a fan of the song, singing the chorus. Yeah, there's Nirvana in there, there's Soundgarden, there's Weezer. Weezer apparently is dad rock. Blink 182, Limp Bizkit, Pearl Jam, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny, people don't realize, like, generational wise, like 10 years doesn't seem like a long time, right? But generation wise, it can be a long time. I remember I went to go see Pearl Jam 10 years after 10 came out, right?
That would
And
be
I'm thinking,
2001.
okay, something like that, right? And I'm just thinking, this is nice, this is great, this is cool, this is whatever. I'm here. And then just hearing like younger people in the audience going, "Oh, this is like that stuff on the classic rock station."
Oh my god, that is there is not okay, I'm
And that
gonna
was like
tell you
10 years, that was only 10 years after
yeah,
10 came out. And
yeah.
the kid was like, it wasn't a kid, it was like probably some of it was like 19, but it was like, "Oh, this is," because I think she came with a date and he brought her, and so she wasn't familiar with it, and she goes, "Oh, I've heard this on the classic rock station." And I remember thinking, "Man, they've only been out 10 years. Like, what do you mean on the classic rock station? What are you talking about?" Right?
This is my worst nightmare. Like I haven't ranted about this enough on my page, but I hate the word classic rock. Whoever made that word, I want to find that person, because it's like one box that you have put everything into, and there's no respect at all for like people's legacies. And like, who is it? I was just thinking about this the other day. The Who, Pete Townsend.
Mhm.
The Who's entire discography now is like classic rock. And I was just thinking about this. I was like, how disrespectful is it? Like, this man's been through so much. He's given us so much great music. Like, the Who are no ordinary brand. The Who are like, generational.
Yeah.
Like, they defied a generation. People who make up, not make up stories. Like, people who make profiles on him say like he did this and he did that. But I've read his interviews and parts of his books where he talks about him being a guitarist in the '60s. He's like, I was surrounded by Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, uh, Jeff Beck, and then there was me who couldn't solo like them, or
Yeah.
he could like, I mean, yeah, he did invent punk rock. I do believe that, but yeah, I hate that word classic rock.
When you have a lot of bands like The Who, when you have a lot of bands that have been around for a long time, you could see that they've made many different incarnations. There's many different iterations of them, and sometimes they're very exploratory with their sounds. I mean, look at the Police. You've got rock songs in Police, you've got ballad songs, but he's gone almost reggae-ish at times. You look at Blondie. Like, a lot of people are like, what do you class like, some people will classify Blondie as new wave, some of them will classify as punk, some will classify as classic rock. And it's like, why do you have to classify as anything? Like, for me, like, my
Music is music.
playlist,
Yeah.
you and me are the same way in the sense that we don't like make genre playlists. Like, I have a giant universal 3,000 plus songs that I just put good songs. And sometimes it's classical and sometimes, and some people ask me, they're like, when you're playing though, isn't it weird? Like if you get like a, like, I don't know, a Doors song followed by like, I don't know, a Aerosmith song, then Chopin. And I'm like, no, because to me, good music is good music. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
it,
matter. Like I'm still happy when certain stuff comes on. Like I can listen to Glenn Campbell right after listening to Fiona Apple, no issues. It's just good music's good music. So you have a list
yeah.
and you actually have your list with you, unlike somebody else
Where is he?
who
Did he join?
he hasn't yet. Like he just sent a message that said off.
Oh.
So he's like Schrodinger's box at this moment. He will either join or not
Okay.
join. As unknown. But you have a list, and unlike Desmond, you keep it handy. Like I gave him such shit because he's like he always says I'm going to put it on the list of things that we should talk about, and then every time we come on here, I'm like, do you have a list? And he's like, no, I don't have it. And I'm like, and so there's this episode in Seinfeld where Jerry makes a reservation at a car rental
Hmm.
place, and it's a classic problem. He went to the car rental place, and they said, "Oh, the car's not here." And they're like, "So you know how to take a reservation, you just don't know how to hold a reservation." And I sent it to him. I'm like, "You know how to make a list, but you don't know how to keep the list anywhere near where you would need the list." So
Fully said.
that's his problem. Okay, so what's your list? What's on your list? Let's hear it.
So I wanted to say about the Guns N' Roses concert because I remember what when you reposted those reels on your stories, you said you mentioned 20 years ago this wouldn't have been possible. So I went into the archives to see what was the music scene like 20 years ago.
Oh, nice. Tell me,
Th-
what was it like?
Then
Was I wrong?
no, 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 you weren't wrong. There were festivals happening here, but it wasn't as wide scale as it is now. I'll give you the whole background when we talk about it. So that's one. Two, uh, you meant like us maintaining our list of songs we get sick of seeing on Instagram again and again and again. Wait, and then I was saving this as well. I just bought this last week. Hank Williams.
Oh, I love that you're still buying CDs.
I am. I stopped for a bit, but then I saw this and I had to get it. And there's also this. I bought that and I bought System of a Down.
Oh, nice. It was on sale somewhere for £1.
Yeah, my brother was in
Oh, your
town.
brother sent it?
Yeah, he
Oh,
got it for
that's
me.
cool. That's really nice. I think music is such a great gift. So I was just telling somebody recently about this and you, and I'm like, one of the reasons that your page stood out for me so much, and then our conversations, and I instantly I'm like, oh, I love this guy, and it was just because you started your page from a really pure place. Okay, a lot of people start their pages with the intent of, I want to be an influencer, I want to be a content creator, I want to monetize, I want to do all this. And what you were telling me in our private conversations was just like, man, I love music, I love discovering music, and I love reading about music. I like to read biographies and autobiographies, and then it's cool stuff and I like to share it, and that's what I do. And I was like, "You're not monetizing?" And you're like, "No, no, 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 I'm just sharing." And I thought, "Man, that's so cool because he's just sharing something that," and I thought that's a really beautiful thing. And so that was the the first thing that really made me take notice of you as a person. I'm like, oh, this really is another just music fan. Like, and that kind of resonated with me because I love people that love music for music. But something that I noticed lately, and you and I, we like to share a lot of times. I mean, we do different things. I do this podcast, you do what you do, but sometimes I'll hear something or you'll hear something and we're like, oh, let's collaborate on this because we're excited. Like we're excited. We're like, we haven't heard this in a while. Or you'll say, hey, I want to do something on this. I'm like, oh man, I'll share a memory. And you're like, yeah. And we collaborate on that because it's coming from such a kind of I think a pure place from both of us that we're just stupid music nerds and we get excited and we're like, It's like, when you're kids and you find a shiny rock or a cool stick and you wanna show your friends, and it's like, that's us. We're like, "We want you guys to hear what we love." But there's a lot of accounts that it's just like all it is on this date, this album was released, on this date, and it's like sometimes I open and I had to unfollow so many accounts that I used to love because they're all like 15 accounts on the same day. They're all posting the same shit. It's like, oh, today this person died. Oh, today's Bob Dylan's birthday. Everybody's got like sometimes it's the same video, it's the same photo, it's the same. And I'm like, I told you, I'm like, man, I'm getting sick of songs that I used to love. Like you guys are kind of doing the opposite. Like instead of like spreading the love of music, you're like literally making me sick of stuff because it's like, and it's the same video. It's like I think you're all just copying the same video from each other too. There's like no originality.
It is, and when you know, okay, you know what? Let's just take some shots. That's okay.
Well, here we go.
So, there's three in my 8 years of doing Legends of Music. There's
Yeah.
three reasons why you would want to keep posting the same shit again and again. A, your engagement's dying. Recognized stuff's going to get you what you want. B, you've run out of original ideas. You don't know what to post anymore. Because I've been there. I've been there myself. And or C, you just want to copy what everyone else is doing. So in each of these instances, you're not adding anything original. So like, in um, how do you stand out in like a creative field where everybody's already doing the same thing as everyone else? So for me, when I started my page, it was because I had no friends growing up who shared the same music as me. I would have to walk maybe 10 miles to find someone, talk about the Beatles.
Yeah.
And and now in hindsight, more often than not, I realize I was like hanging out with the wrong people to be able to find, people who shared that same taste in music. But those who I was hanging out with, they were all like techno and electronic and dance party stuff, and it was just like I was a, I was a very angry teenager. I wanted like something to resonate with me or to like to be able to relate to, and I wasn't able to get that. So for me, when I entered university, I realized the same thing again. Like this feeling that I had was multiplied by 1,000.
Hmm.
So I was like, I want to be able to relate to people. I want people to be able to relate to me. So I was like, I'm going to start this page not as a way to find friends, but more as a way to talk about what I'm feeling, what I'm saying, what's going through my mind. That's what I kind of like. That's one of the biggest reasons what I did. So I was writing these reviews of these albums that I was listening to, and um, each review was like aimed at like trying to start a conversation with somebody. So the first one I did was "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd, and it was aimed at the only guy I have a friend here. I love him to death. He's like a little brother to me. Um, he was the only person I knew in school, in university, who listened to the same music as me. But the frustrating thing about that guy was that he would only listen to two bands, Guns N' Roses or Metallica. And I by that point, like I something had happened in me, I don't know how to explain it, where I where my phase of being a metalhead was slowly dying, and I was now starting to like take all these other bands into it. Radiohead, I had just started getting into Radiohead at the time.
Hmm.
uh, I like the music scene in that university was very boring. You had all these guitarists on stage who were just like so super obsessed with like progressive rock or progressive metal or shredding. They were just standing
Yeah.
on stage going blah, 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 blah. There's like no soul. And
Yeah.
I used to watch them play, and I used to like, oh, it used to irritate me, it used to annoy me. I was like, I just wish there was someone I could, you know.
Yeah.
And then magically this guy came in my life. So my initial round of posts were aimed at him to like sort of get him to start listening to it. So he took my bait. He started listening to Wish You Were Here, and him and I took off from that. Like we just started talking about music. We started, like, as I was discovering things, I was, showing it to him. And the frustrating thing about him, and he knows this because I complain about every time I meet him, is like every time I play a new song for him, he'll have his, because he's a proper musician, he'll have a guitar in his hand and he'll try to find the key of the song. He'll try to find the chords, and he's more obsessed with playing it than listening to it. and
Yeah, yeah,
and I like every time I go to his house now, I was like, every time you do this, I'm gonna walk, because he has like a guitar, a bass, and no, he sold his drum kit. And like, I'm gonna walk to every guitar you have, and I'm gonna like detune all the strings. So it's like whatever tuning you have, they're like all the tunings are going to be like flat, and I'm going to
yeah,
detune everything. And it bothers him so much that I will actually do it rather than get
yeah,
him to sit down and listen. So yeah, so it was just that I was just like starting to connect to people more, and next thing I know, more and more people around the world are taking notice, and it is where it is today.
yeah. A million plus. And I'm really proud of you because I mean, I saw that happen. I saw the work you put into it, but it wasn't surprising. And it wasn't surprising how fast it happened because I think that people can recognize somebody posting out of love. Like a lot of posts you'll see, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, I saw there was times I've sent you stuff and I'm like, this person just copy and pasted what you wrote. Like there's not even hiding
Hmm.
it. Um, and it kind of just was surprising to me. But now I see that since ChatGPT's got around, a lot of people just use ChatGPT to write their captions. And so it's not even coming from the heart at all.
The best thing is you can make out like what is a chat gpt caption and what is from the heart.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why like when we collaborate, I always try to put in a story. It's not like, "Oh, listen to my story." But it's like, "Well, this was my experience." It's like, "You're not gonna get this from ChatGPT. Like, tell me your experience." I mean, there was a case actually, and it's actually a really cool story. It happened on something that you and I did together, and we posted something, and this guy came on and he's like, "I don't like this." Right? "I don't like this. I don't think you should have posted it. I don't think this is legends of music." And I could have gone the route and just but that particular, sometimes I like to get snarky and sassy back, not in a mean way, just a little, just a little fun, right? Just a little thrill. But that day I was just like, all right, you know what? You're telling me all the stuff that you hate, right? Tell me something you like. Oh, it was Weezer. I now remember. We posted Weezer, and he just had a lot of shit to say about Weezer, about how they weren't a good band, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, "Okay, have you listened to a lot of the stuff?" He's like, "No." And so I was like, "Okay, you've told me what you don't like. Tell me what you like." Instead of coming onto a page where people are, you know, most people are sharing, "Oh, they love this song," or whatever. You decided to come in here and just basically say, "I don't like it." Nobody asked you, but you decided to say it. Okay, fine. Tell me what you like. Give me something you like, okay? I will go listen to it. And then I'm going to give you a Weezer song to listen to. And you tell me what you think of this Weezer song. Right.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And he came back and he's like, it wasn't bad. He's like, it was pretty good. And I listened to his stuff. And then we got into a much, much better conversation. And he's a music fan. He's a music fan from South America. South Americans love music. They're great at loving music. They are some of the best
that
fans I've ever seen in the world. So I even told him, I'm like, I'm surprised that you would say that you hate somebody because you're South American. The South Americans like everything. They have such a great music. They're passionate about music. They're passionate fans. Like go at any Rock in Rio, look at any South American festival, any shows of bands playing in South America, look at the fans. They are
they
like
will
out of
eat
this world.
South Americans will eat any other audience alive.
Yes. Yes. I love South American audiences.
And even the music, I've been listening to a lot of Brazilian samba, bossa nova lately, because I saw who was it, someone had posted about Brazilian like basically like South American music, and I heard a bit of it and I got hooked. So I was listening to a lot of that, and I was like, this is so cool. Why isn't anybody else talking about this?
Talk to Angus about it right now. He's really into South American music and Cuban music, but only because like he's just really into narco and stuff. And he says it's really calm. And then he bought a suit recently to go to prom. And then he decided that he was just going to wear a suit half the day. And he's like, I feel like a South American drug lord. And he goes, and I like it. And I was like, oh God. And then then his granny's like, why? Why do you want to be a drug lord? Because she doesn't get his trolling. So she was sad. Like, why can't you be something else? Do you have friend groups with your friends? Do you have big friend groups?
No.
No, I mean, but like, so how long would you say, like, you obviously you might have a group chat with your friends, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How long has that group chat been going on?
Okay, so for me to answer that question, you have to understand one thing. Like all my friends that I have, I've known for years. Like my the oldest friend I have, I've known for 27 years because we went to the same kindergarten. We ended up going to the same school, and we've known each other since then. Then after that comes a guy I met in fifth grade who lives in Hong Kong, followed by two of my other close friends who I've known since 2007 and 2010. And then the guy who I was talking about, whose guitars I will probably detune someday, um, I've known him since 2014, 15, 2015, a decade. So like all these people I've known through like years and years, and like you go like you stay with them so long enough that they become like family. Yeah. So like ever since probably WhatsApp became a household thing, I've had group chats with them since then.
Okay, so let me ask you a question because I don't know if every group chat is like this or if it's just like some of the group chat. So we have a group chat and it's like I would say that they are members. They're family. They're really family, right? And we're all close. And we're still close. And my mother they're here a lot. Like they've been here for like every birthday of Angus's since he was young. We're all very close. We're like brothers and sisters. But there's drama in the group chat, and it's so funny because there's always like one person. Like, first of all, we have two people in the group chat, Stevie and Craig, and they are definitely instigators because they just like to see what kind of going to happen, right? And then we've got like a really nice guy, Jason. He's New Zealand. New Zealanders are just like super nice, right? We've got we've just got like Crib. He works for like the UN, like super calm, nice person. But you've got all these different personalities, and every now and then you've got like very like outspoken women, like my friend Laura. She is a crypto queen. Like she used to be head of NEM, which does like blockchain. Super smart. Another person is a journalist, super smart. You've got all these different personalities always every now and then, like every couple of years, there'll be something where somebody leaves the chat and then it's just like, and then you come on and you haven't been there for a while and you're like, what the hell happened in here? It's just like this happened. And then it's like, who's going to go get that person to come back? You got to, X, you need to apologize to Z to make them come back. I'm so lucky. I've never been in not one group chat altercation because I'm always that person that just sits back and watches, like,
Yeah,
because
same.
because I don't want it to stop. Like, I know that everybody will get back together, but there's just some funny that happens, and it's nothing mean. It's just people get sick of each other. But what I love is that it's safe enough. The friendship group is safe enough that somebody knows that they could get mad, say, "Oh, y'all," they leave. They're gone for like 2 months, 2 months, and then they'll come back, and it's like nobody talks about it until the next person leaves. So it's I think it's funny. Like I love that. I love when you have groups like that though, that it's like you can just be yourself. You could be mad. You could be whatever, and it's all cool. But sometimes it's
Yeah.
funny when people get like Jason, the New Zealand guy, we get him mad when we mention America's Cup.
When you mention America,
America's Cup. It's just a sailing race. It's inconsequential. It's inconsequential to him. It's inconsequential to us, but for some reason he doesn't like talking about it, so we talk about it a lot. Like, how could you be mad about a sailing race? Like, so of course we're going to talk about that all the time. Like, we're just like make a little sticker with the America's Cup.
Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh, you don't like talking about it? Okay, let's talk about it."
Yeah, let's
So,
talk about it more. A lot of people give a lot of bands shit for doing greatest hit tours, right? And I'm like, why are you giving them shit? Like, they made the music. They still made it, right? People still like to hear it. So what are you giving them shit for? Like, I don't get that when people are like, oh, they're just doing it. Yeah, you know what? Maybe some people are still just learning about the music now. They're still getting introduced to the music now. And it's stuff people still want to hear. So I don't care if people are still making money off of making a living off of something that they created. Well, the label sure as hell took a lot of money from a lot of artists, right? So why shouldn't they be able to go? That's a way for them to recoup money that they might not have gotten just selling the albums. So yeah, so I don't understand
sorry,
people
I just
that
I just love how your face just went like that.
there are so many like episodes like I cut a lot of stuff out. There was one that I had to run out because my mom called me for something and I left Desmond on and Angus just came and took over and he took over, but then he started talking about ridiculous stuff like how he was going to sell oregano as marijuana and that everybody should buy his oregano. And it was really all to promote this fake oregano as weed business. And so like I was like, I can't put that on there. So like I had to
Yeah.
cut stuff out. Like I'm just like, what are you doing? Um I have a question. So the crowd, the Dubai crowd, did you see was it a very very diverse
No, no,
crowd?
no.
Was it
This wasn't a Dubai crowd. This was Abu Dhabi. So like
okay.
UAE has 7 emirates that
Yeah.
like constitutes the country. So this was in Abu Dhabi.
Okay. So how what was the crowd? What was the crowd like?
So the
Was there a
people.
lot of
Mhm.
people from everywhere?
So the people, yeah, yeah, it's very diverse. The guy behind me was Scottish. The people in front of me were Indians. Indians. The schoolgirls who passed, like who asked if they could go forward, were also Indian. Then I saw a bunch of British people over there. I met an Australian. Uh, yeah, it's pretty diverse. It's pretty diverse population.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I think it's the same over there where you are as it here we have a very diverse crowd just being like melting pot, like Bangkok's a melting pot. I think that that's really cool though because it really does show the diversity, like how the music does reach everybody, like regardless of where you're from geographically, that music does get out there, and that's really cool. It's like when you go to shows in a lot of, like in America, it's usually mostly
excuse me.
American crowd or something like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. It was beautiful to see everybody like having a good time. Being respectful and just like being in the moment. Even though if you had your phone out, but still.
yeah, yeah. Um, I have another question because this it going. I told you I went to a cigarettes after sex show with my son, and it was surprising to me because I hadn't gone to a show in Thailand before. And I hadn't actually gone to a show for just a long time because life, kid, whatever, marriage. Hadn't gone to like a proper show. Like I'd been side stage for a lot of shows, but I hadn't been like in the crowd for the show. And when we got there, it was really cool to me. And that's why I'm curious, is this like this maybe over there as well? But like everybody waited in line to get in, but everybody was just sat. So everyone was just kind of sat. Everyone was kind of calm. People were talking to each other. It was more like it what surprised me though is that how quiet it was. Like before a concert. And everyone was like really orderly and when it was time to open the doors, everybody kind of stood up. The queue was very nice. They moved like very slowly to get in, and then we had general admission floor. So we went to that section. And it was funny because Angus was saying, I got to get up front. I'm like, oh, what just, it's show's not for another, like, cause we got let in like an hour before the show. And I said, you got another hour. You can, make your way up front then. He's like, no, people don't do that here. I'm like, what are you talking about? You just, because that's how I grew up in the States. You just pushed your way forward. And if you were small and little, people were like really cool about it. There wasn't any fights. You just pushed your way forward. Right. And he's like, yeah, they don't do that here. And you really couldn't do that here because I saw other people try. People were nice, but they were like, no, they would not let you get up front. And even for, I was like, I'm just going to go try to get my son. And they're like, no. And I'm like, but my son's up front. And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. But afterwards, like I told, Desmond, I'm like, I was really impressed though that how nice the crowd was. How is it there where you are? Is it kind of orderly like that too? Or is it rough? Is it people moody? People like, how is it?
You will definitely get moody people, you know, those who feel like they're inclined to more, you
Yeah.
know, like there was as I was entering, because I had gone off in a different direction. I don't know what happened there, but there was this other couple who felt like, you know, they're celebrities or something, and were behaving like, you know, we can go past security, we don't have to do this and that, and why do we have to pay so much for this? And it's just a bunch of complainers. So you definitely, like in Dubai, the general mood, or the general, what's the word for it, most people are respectful, but everybody's out for their own personal gain. I don't know if that makes sense to
Yeah.
you.
No, no, I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Like everyone's respectful, queuing up and all, but everyone tries to show off that, you know, I have more influence than you. I can go
Yeah.
backstage. I can do this. I can do that.
Oh, yeah. 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 Do you think it's because you're over there in the UEA and there's, a, a lot of, you've got a lot of people that have a lot of money and a lot of influence. Do you think an entitlement? Do you think it's because of that?
Yep. Yes.
See, I
100%.
think here, I think so. Maybe it is a Thai orderly thing because I was saying that Thailand has a thing here where you can. They're so good about cues. It's funny how it's enforced, but Thai people will just put an item down on the ground and it could be anything. It could be like a mouse
Yeah,
and they'll put it a mouse and they hold that's their cue. And I'm not talking about just like the line for the post office. Like I saw on New Year's Eve, which is, these are going to be top spots to be
mhm.
near wherever, whatever the equivalent of a ball drop, in Thailand. So you would think that even something like that the mouse in line worked or the hair tie in line that worked. That was like solid and people didn't mess with that. And it's like that would never happen in the States. People would be like, what's this? Kick it away. And
Yeah,
then like,
yeah.
I'm first
That's
in line.
that's the same thing in Dubai. It's basically move your feet, lose your seat.
So maybe it's just kind of cool over here. Like I didn't like realize that.
I just think people in Thailand would probably more respectful about, you
I
know.
think they're generally chill. I think that's why so many expats like to come here. It's chill.
That actually reminds me, while we were waiting for the show to start, they were showing advertisements for all the shows that were happening in the arena, and the Pumpkins are going to that same arena. So there was
Nice.
this one guy, like a little bit ahead of me, that were talking about the Pumpkins. It was one of those, you know, where like they're stuck in the past. Their head is still in 1995. They haven't realized like how much the band's evolved, or like how much Billy has evolved. So they're like, yeah, I like they look like they look like they'd been alive and well in the 90s. So they're like, yeah, we remember buying Melancholy and Siamese Dream. Like they were just like walking through both those albums, and like Siamese Dream was cool. We like this, we like that song. Melancholy was cool, but man, adore that album. I did not like that album. It's too electronic for my liking. I hate it when artists go like when artists become electronic. And I was just like, I was listening. I didn't want to say anything. I was just like observing and listening. And then I was wondering, like, do you think they're gonna go past Adore and like talk about 2000s, or like the
Hmm.
stuff that he did after that? And there was no mention of that for them. Like the band ceased to exist in 1995.
Yeah,
Closure.
it's like they stopped. They heard something they didn't like and they just stopped.
Yeah.
But in when it comes to people like that, though, it's like I don't even pay attention to them because it's like obviously those are people stuck in the past. They're stagnant, right?
Yeah.
And they don't understand that people change. And what like you take a band like the Pumpkins. And I bring it up a lot because I love the pumpkins, right? But there's different iterations of pumpkins, and those different iterations sometimes match the different iterations within me. I love Adore as much as I love Siamese Dream, as much as I love Melancholy. I love Machina a little more. I love Agora Mori May, which was their most recent album. They've gone back to like this hard rock. And it's like, I can look at it and be like, oh, I kind of like this because there's music for literally everything, every mood I feel. There's soft stuff. My dad liked the more piano stuff of Pumpkins. My mom's favorite song is Lily. You know, like there's there's all sorts of stuff that you can really really love, and it's like, why wouldn't you think that that's better for an artist to be able to encompass and embrace all of that? Why do you want to box them into one tiny little corner?
The greatest songwriters always know that music can be anything. It doesn't have to conform to one style or one era, or you know. I always reference the Beatles in situations like this because they knew music was changing long before other people picked up on it. You know, when they moved from being the pop band that everybody loved into becoming like Revolver, which is my favorite Beatles album. So yeah, it's like the greatest songwriters always know music evolves forever. It's never
Yeah,
stagnant.
yeah. You know what? What's your thoughts? And because Angus asked me about this not too long ago, and I was like, oh, I actually kind of like him. What's your thoughts on Post Malone?
Oh, back and forth. I hear the music. I don't like it. Like it doesn't do much to get my interest, but I respect it. And then I see him online, like all these clips that surface on Instagram, and you have to respect him for pushing, the old music to a whole new generation that would not have known who Nirvana was otherwise,
Yeah,
or Pearl Jam, or Red Hot Chili Peppers, or any other band. I just like it's back and forth. Like I hear solo music, and it doesn't do much to get my interest, but I respect it because I respect anybody who makes music. And then I see all these clips of him online playing the guitar and jamming with them, and I just like there was this one interview that surfaced of him just being an absolute Nirvana geek for like 3 minutes.
yeah,
Some interviewer asked him, "What are your thoughts on Nevermind? What are your thoughts on In Utero?" And he didn't sound like the guy who's caught up on the greatest hits.
yeah, yeah.
He
No,
sounded
he's
like the guy.
definitely a music fan.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely sounded like the guy who was going deeper and deeper into like talking about the lesser known stuff on In Utero, which I thought was
Yeah,
amazing. So
yeah, yeah.
it's like back and forth.
He's got crazy lore already for his like young age. This child, like, I don't know how he manages to have like crazy lore. It's like I think his life is like so much more interesting than mine.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much: when he once he goes off to university, yeah, he's not going to change. He's still
So I'm
going
gonna
to.
go follow him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go follow him wherever he is. Like I made him promise me. I'm like, when you get older and you like have a house, you're gonna have like a room for me, right? He's like, no. He's like, I'll buy you your own house. I'm like, I don't want my own house. Like I have my own house. Like I want to just I want to be with you. And he's like, no, I'll get you a place next door. Like grandma's next door. I'm like, keep it. And he's like, look, grandma's always over here. I'm like, yeah, but that's nothing I could do about that. But I'm like, no, I want to live with you. He's like, no. And I'm like, why? I just want to see you and hang out with you. No.
yeah. My mom doesn't do that. She knows we will take care of her.
There used to be, when he was younger, I used to always tell him, I said, be the orca. Because I read and I researched, and it turns out that male orcas, the orca society, the orca pods are a matriarchal society. It's usually run by a granny, right? And she passes on the knowledge of like, where's the feeding grounds? Where's that? She's the one that passes all on the knowledge. And the male orcas usually never leave the mother, and they're usually within like 15 kilometers of the mother within that radius at all times. And when the females in the pod mature, they go off to other pods. but the males always stay with the mommies. And so like, and there's been cases in the past where like a matriarchal orca will die, and the her sons will like push her body around for days, right? They don't want to let go of mom. And so I read this when he was like very young, and I was crying. And I was like, "Do you promise you'll always be the orca when you grow up?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Never leave your mom, just always be the orca." He's like, "Okay." When he turned 7, I bought him an orca pin. He's like, "Okay, this is too much now, mom." He's like, "I'm not gonna wear an orca necklace." I'm like, "It's to remind you to be the orca." He's like, "Yeah, not doing it." I'm like, "Please be the orca." So Desmond never came.
Yeah, bummer.
He's probably in his isolation tank in the dark.
Funny.
Was there anything else on your list?
No, I think we covered like almost everything.
We do have some cool things. Like we do have cool collabs coming up. I like that we get like I love our collaborations because it's usually like you and I got excited about something and we're like, "Oh, let's do this." And it's a lot of times very spontaneous. But I love that you tend to meet me sometimes at that level of like geekiness, and I love it when you geek out on stuff.
More often than not, I just let you do you. Like some things that you're so passionate about, it's like I'm just gonna hit
Cuz I'm
accept.
like I'm like what people don't like okay, like for example, that uh the Sponge song Plowed. Such a great song. And I told you, and you were like, I really haven't heard this song. I'm like, oh my God, but once you hear it, you won't forget it, right? Like it's got such a great intro. And yeah, some people are like, oh, it's a one hit wonder. But it's like we posted that and it was like so much love. And people were like, exactly what I thought. People were like, oh, I totally forgot I love this song. And I'm like, yeah, it's such a good song. Like, I don't know, like I like reminding people, like I like leaving breadcrumbs. I think that's my thing. I like to leave breadcrumbs. Maybe you like it, and if you don't, that's cool. Tell me like what you like.